Sad news, Charlie Kirk has passed away. And I can say I am no longer a Democrat at all. The moment where you can't have a simple debate, right? Or you can't go on a college campus without getting shot, it's crazy. Then I go to the comments and these people are saying, well, great job, be on to the next type of deal. But this is the same people that want us to respect them because we don't agree all the way on gay marriage or any of the economics. So you want this guy to be killed, and that's okay with you. But yet you want to be the party of let's all come together, let's be peaceful. You guys are not peaceful people at all. You are not peaceful people. You actually wanted this guy to die. You incited these people to do this. This is ridiculous. The moment where we can't have a clear debate, game on the table. This is crazy. I'm no longer a Democrat, will ever support any Democratic nominees. I just don't want to be a part of that party anymore.
Welcome back, guys. Today we're diving into a wave that's been hard to ignore. More and more Democrats are saying they've had enough and are walking away from the left. With everything going on lately, it feels like we've hit a real breaking point, especially after what happened with Charlie. People are waking up and they're realizing they can't keep standing with a party that openly glorifies and celebrates something so dark. And honestly, can you blame them? The hypocrisy, the double standards? It's reached a level that's impossible to ignore. Do you think this is finally the tipping point? Or have you been seeing it coming all along? I'd really like to see where you stand on that. But enough talking, let's jump right into these clips and see what's really going on.
I'm leaving the Republican Party. Okay, may I ask why? I don't agree with the policies anymore, and I'm leaning left. Okay, well, although we can agree to disagree, I really respect you as a friend. I've enjoyed our friendship, and if you ever want to talk about politics, we can, but we don't have to. Thanks, I appreciate that. Of course. I'm leaving the Democratic Party. Oh, so you're racist, homophobic, a bigot, and a sexist. What? No, I'm still me. It's just, I don't align with your values anymore, and I find myself leaning more conservative. I mean, I never thought I'd say that. Well, we can disagree on politics, but we can't disagree on human values and human rights. I'm still me, the person you've known since 3rd grade, and I really have enjoyed our friendship. Well, last time I checked, I wasn't friends with Nazis.
So this is how it works now. If you leave the Republican Party, you get a handshake and respect. We can still be friends. But if you leave the Democrats, suddenly you're hit with every insult they can think of. That's not tolerance, that's intimidation, and it proves something a lot of us already knew. The so-called party of acceptance only accepts you as long as you repeat their script word for word. The moment you think for yourself, you're treated like the enemy. Do you really think that kind of reaction wins people over? Or is it exactly why so many are walking away? But anyways, let's go ahead and move on, because we have another individual who decided that the Democratic Party is not for them. Let's take a look.
This Charlie Kirk thing kind of put the nail in the coffin of me being a Democrat. I was slowly moving away from it anyway because I was noticing certain things, but I'm not a Democrat, and I'm not a Republican either, but I'm not a Democrat. And I just noticed, like, certain things, like the way that the conversation would be shut down by calling somebody a name or calling somebody a bigot. It's like, okay, and why am I a bigot just because I disagree with you? Like, I can disagree with you and still not want anything bad for you. I just disagree. And it's like, oh, you're personally committing violence against me if you disagree. It's like, that's a cop-out. And I would notice certain things like that. I would notice that I was being intentionally angered every 4 years so that I would go out and vote. It would be a new token thing to like get behind. Oh, if you don't vote this year, this thing's gonna happen and everything's gonna be taken away. But then the next year, none of those things would happen. So I was just being gaslit every single time. And it's crazy because like I didn't recognize it, but as I started to just see it, I started to see how like it's one thing to believe in something, it's another thing to tell somebody they're bad if they don't, especially if the view is wacky, crazy, and all the way out there. Canceling somebody for something that they did when they was 8 years old, for something that they said when they was 8 years old, and that thing won't even a slur back then. It's like, what are we like do? Like, people can't grow. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's a way to keep people in control. And if you don't think exactly how I think, if you ever step in line, I can just like, take away. You know what I'm trying to say? And it was just very controlling, but just very evil. And like the moral superiority, the moral high horse, and the performative activism was crazy. Like, oh, we are so oppressed, and go, like ride the Starbucks. It's like there's actually people that are in different countries, and like that's very disrespectful to them to say that you're oppressed like that. Like, you know, I would debate people down. And here's the thing, I had to come to realization that like I would go online to see what I should feel about a subject instead of actually saying what I did feel about the subject, to see what they were saying, and I would hop on it. And I had to be honest, I was hopping on bandwagons. And yes, it was when I was younger, but as I just grew older, I'm like, this not it. And finally, when it comes to the death of somebody, it's like, it doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter what they think. Nobody deserves that. I can see if you just heard about it, but you saw it on camera and you still saying you ain't sad about it. That's like your humanity is now lost. Like politics is making like some of them crazy. And that's why I was just like, oh, y'all are drinking Kool-Aid right now. And I'm not going to drink that. Like, I'm going to just walk off. And that's one of the reasons why. And it's the nail in the coffin, because if you are so politicked out that you cannot cry when somebody unalive, you're not as moral as you think you are. Sorry.
This right here exposes the game. Every 4 years, it's the same routine. Manufactured outrage, emotional blackmail, and a brand new crisis to scare people into voting. And when you finally start to question it, the mask comes off. Suddenly, you're called every ugly name they can throw, all because you dared to think for yourself. That's not morality, that's control. The constant gaslighting, the cancel culture nonsense, the fake moral superiority. It's designed to keep people in line, not to make the world better. And the scariest part? Some people are so far gone that they've lost the ability to show basic humanity. Do you think more Americans are finally starting to see through this? Or are we still just scratching the surface? I'm curious to hear your thoughts in the comments.
The reason I am so critical of the Democratic Party right now is because I literally just left it, just like a lot of other people. I was a bleeding heart liberal like all of you. I mean, blue hair and everything. I mean, believe me, I have plenty of pictures proving that I was all in. If you would have asked me a year ago, I would have said there is no way in hell I will ever vote for Donald Trump. But let me tell you what changed my mind. The big moment for me was when the left started trying to push this like Nazi, Hitler, fascism narrative that they're trying to push right now. Like, what y'all actually did is made a lot of us really go research Trump even harder. And we started to realize that a lot of things that you guys had shown us about Trump and things that he had said were taken way out of context. A lot of us started noticing a pattern where you guys were showing us like little 10-second clips of a 10-minute conversation that did not reflect the entirety of that conversation at all. So that was number one. And then around Thanksgiving, all of a sudden you guys are telling us that it would be better for us to sit at home and spend the holidays with no one than it would be to go home to your family who voted for Trump. When I heard that, I was like, okay, now y'all are wildin', because you cannot tell me that it is better for your mental health to sit at home alone than it is to go and spend time with your friends and family. Y'all had actual therapists getting on TV and telling you guys this. And the sad thing is that it would have been better for them to encourage you to do something like find other people that believe the same as you to spend the holidays with, but they didn't. They told you to stay in your home and spend the holidays with no one. When that happened, I was like, okay, I gotta give this party a second look, because something is not right here. But honestly, if you want to know the truth, what really did it for me is realizing how freaking depressed I was when I was functioning as a liberal. Liberalism will literally make you hate yourself. It will make you hate your family. It will make you hate your friends. It will make you hate everything about the world. And I'm not saying that you should just be ignorant to everything that is going on in the world, but the way that the left chooses to internalize everything that is going on in the world is detrimental to their mental health. And this is why people try to tell you that empathy is dangerous. But even that you want to take out of context. Empathy itself is a great quality to have. Empathy without discernment is detrimental. You have got to be able to discern when you are carrying too much and you need to take a step back, and none of you are doing that. Believe me, it is possible to care about everything that is going on in the world and not let it consume every single thought that you have and every single conversation that you have. A lot of us are leaving the party in droves because you guys have made it impossible to have any sort of individual thought whatsoever. Like, for instance, if I say that I like RFK Jr. because I want bad chemicals out of my food and because I want to know what's in my vaccines, you will assume that I am someone who is anti-vax and anti-science, when in fact, all three of my kids and myself have been vaccinated. I just want to tell you guys something. Every Republican most likely voted for Trump. Every person that voted for Trump is not a Republican. The fact that you guys are so against Trump's administration right now, when most of his administration is former Democrats who have now left the party, y'all look wild. I mean, the Democratic Party has brainwashed people so hard that they are actually advocating against world peace right now. People on the left would rather us keep giving money to Ukraine to fund a war than to even fathom getting Ukraine and Russia at the table to try to agree to peace. A party that I joined because they were so anti-war and I was so against war now loves war all of a sudden. They have convinced you to love war so much that you are actually fighting for transgender people to be in the military when lots of groups of people are excluded for the military for very valid reasons. For instance, people like me who suffer from anxiety and depression, and even though I'm not currently medicated, I used to take medication for this, and that would disqualify me from serving in the military. And frankly, I don't have a problem with that. I know damn well that somebody like me has no damn business being on the front lines. Me having the conditions that I have make me a liability to the safety of this country. Like, don't get me wrong, I am all for trans rights, okay? I believe that you have the right to be whoever you want to be in whatever way makes you comfortable. But you really want the right to fight in the military? Like, that's the right, that's the hill that you want to die on? Like, bro, people don't get accepted to the military because they have fucking bone spurs on their feet. And you are complaining about the fact that a transgender person can't make it into the military. Like, at this point, the left has convinced you to be so anti-Trump that they will get you to argue for things that you used to be against. And all of this summed up is exactly why you are losing people every single day. As bad as you think that you are making Trump look, all you are doing is making yourself look 10 times worse. And this last election very clearly showed that, because Trump increased his numbers across every single demographic, across women, across young voters, across Black Americans, across Hispanic Americans. Like, everyone came out to vote for Trump. And it is because we just cannot stand y'all anymore. So if you guys want to continue living in that kind of miserable existence, like, that is on you. We are not participating in that anymore. And by saying that, I'm not saying that we're not going to be participating in changing the state of the world, but we don't have to be miserable while we're doing it. So at this point, just forget everything that you have ever heard about Republicans, because I promise you, if you get a group of Trump voters in the room, you will not be able to put them all in one box. I promise you that. The Democratic Party is no longer the party of tolerance and inclusion and diversity. It's the new right. I heard someone else call us that, and honestly, I think we should start calling ourselves that, because we're not Republicans. I don't consider myself a Republican. I don't consider myself a Democrat anymore, but I damn well am not going to consider myself a Republican. I think we should coin ourselves as the new right, because that is so fitting. If that's you, then I am so glad you're here, and welcome to the new right. We would love to have you.
This is exactly how so many people end up walking away. First, you get told Trump is the monster under the bed, only to realize later that most of what you saw was 10-second clips chopped out of context. Then it's, don't even see your own family if they voted differently. That's not mental health advice, that's cult behavior. And the worst part, the constant misery. Liberalism thrives on keeping you depressed, keeping you angry, keeping you divided. If your worldview makes you hate yourself, your family, your friends, and even peace itself, maybe it's not compassion, it's control. That's why people are leaving in droves. Not because they suddenly love Trump, but because they finally see the manipulation for what it is. Do you think more people will wake up to this before the next election? Or will they keep drinking the Kool-Aid until it's too late? I'm curious where you stand on that one. But anyway, let's move on to our next clip without wasting any time.
I've been dreading making this video because I know I'm gonna get hate comments, especially from the left, and nobody likes hate comments online. I used to proudly call myself a liberal. I still believe in equality, healthcare access, LGBTQ+ rights, definitely science and social programs. But I've grown really tired of the performance, the fear-mongering, and the refusal to have real conversations. I don't want to be here to scream or cancel or shame somebody into agreeing with me. I believe that we need to listen to each other even when we disagree, because change doesn't happen in an echo chamber. I'm not switching sides. I'd say I'm stepping out of the label. I'm an independent, logic-based thinker who's done letting political parties define my humanity. I'm still progressive, but I care more about the truth than tribalism. You can fight for justice without losing your critical thinking. If you want to argue, go talk to somebody else. But if you're ready to listen, then I'm all ears. Not everything needs to be red versus blue. Like, for example, here's some things that I know we can agree on. Our healthcare is broken. You shouldn't go bankrupt just because you got sick in red or blue states. Big corporations, for example, have too much power. They lobby both parties, and working people end up paying the price. Veterans and the elderly deserve better care, period. No excuses. Mental health matters. It's not woke to want trauma support, for example, especially for kids and veterans. The middle class is being squeezed by inflation, housing costs, and endless debt, which is just not sustainable. We need civil liberties. Your right to speak, worship, protest, own property, and make personal choices. I think another thing that we could agree on is that we both need to protect democracy, which means fair elections, checks and balances, and yes, accountability for every party. And this is the one that's gonna piss you liberals and you Democrats and anybody on the left off. Nobody should be hated for how they voted. Basically, what I mean by that is no one should be sliced for asking questions. I'm not here to hate conservatives. I'm definitely not fucking here to blindly follow liberals. I'm here because I want to bridge the gap and speak truth and hopefully make this country less divided and a hell of a lot smarter. And if that makes me hard to categorize, then good. I just don't want to associate myself with a party that is screaming into the void. I don't want to associate myself with a party who doesn't understand that productive conversations mean something. If you guys really wanted change, you wouldn't be sitting here calling every fucking conservative uneducated idiots. Conservatives are capable of having conversations, and for everybody on the left to accuse them of just being incapable of that, you're not making any changes. You're not going to have productive conversations. All you're gonna do is push people more to not understanding your points. If you're trying to come at somebody with something that you know is a fact, don't insult them about it. You say it's hard to have conversations with conservatives, but it's the way that you approach them. And it's associated with the left now. The left is just like these angry fucking people who can't have conversations as far as the conservatives are concerned. I'm not switching parties, but I sure as fuck don't want to be associated with the left anymore. I want to be able to make real change and have real conversations, and I'm not going to get that done by calling myself a liberal.
This is what happens when people finally get tired of the performance and the fear tactics. It's not about abandoning values like equality, healthcare, or civil liberties. It's about rejecting the circus the left has turned those values into. You can believe in science and still reject the emotional blackmail. You can want justice without buying into the constant outrage machine. And the truth is, when you label every conservative as stupid or incapable of conversation, you're not winning debates, you're proving you don't even want one. That's why so many are stepping away, not because they've gone far right, but because they're sick of being told that independent thinking is betrayal. At the end of the day, people are realizing that you don't have to wear a label to stand for truth. The more the left tries to shame and silence, the more people walk away. And that's the real story here. I want to hear from you. Have you noticed the same double standards and fear tactics in your own life? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because the more we share these experiences, the harder it is for the narrative to stay one-sided.